The Pittsburgh Steelers lose their second straight game, a 34-17 finish, falling on the road to the Baltimore Ravens in NFL Week 16. Welcome into Bleav in Steelers. My name is Mark Bergin, and got a little bit of a different setup. I am skiing in Western North Carolina at Beach Mountain, so that's the reason I have a different backdrop. It's the reason I've got a hat on. But the Pittsburgh Steelers lose today, and I'm going to get into my post-game thoughts. You can weigh in. You can join the conversation in the comment section. I've also left a comment pinned in the show notes if you want to hop on and share your thoughts from today's loss, as the Steelers will try to regroup on Christmas Day against the Kansas City Chiefs. But before we get into today's Bleav in Steelers postgame show, today's episode of the Bleav in Steelers show is brought to you by betonline.ag. They'll take care of any NFL gambling needs that you might have. Head over to the website today. In-game betting, player props, over-unders, spreads. Get in on the NFL action today over at betonline.ag. BetOnline, the game starts here. Really, this game to me came down to this: is not only did the Ravens win the turnover battle, they capitalized on their opportunities and they scored 14 points off the turnovers that they created. The Ravens win the turnover battle today 2-1. And really the two big plays to me were Russell Wilson's fumble, scrambling, trying to score a touchdown at 7-7, instead of just going down and getting the first down and trying to get it first and goal. Wilson fumbles, and our Darius Washington forced it. Kyle Van Noy recovered. Ravens go down and score a touchdown. And then the pick six to Marlon Humphrey in the second half today really put this game away and made it a two-score game, and really put the game out of reach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Steelers had won 8 of 9 going into this game against Baltimore, and I'm kind of glad that that's over, in the sense of Lamar didn't play in all of those games. He was resting in some of those games. He was hurt in others. But this lets me know the seriousness of the Steelers season. And you go up against a Chiefs team that won yet again today. This 3-game stretch is just brutal for Pittsburgh, because you had Philly, you lost today to Baltimore, and then shortened week playing on Wednesday on Christmas Day against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be awfully tough for Pittsburgh. And I said this: I would love to have seen the Steelers go 2-1. I think it would have been a feat to go 2-1 during that 3-game stretch. And now you got to try to regroup on a really shortened week against a Chiefs team that's number 1 in the AFC. And I know it's been a lot of one-score games for Kansas City, but they're the back-to-back Super Bowl champions. And how you stack up against the elite of the elite, that's becoming evident right now if you're Pittsburgh. And they could have wrapped up the AFC North today. The Pittsburgh Steelers could have, and they don't do that. So now you're fighting for playoff positioning, potentially home field advantage. And yes, the Steelers are in the playoffs, but I also liken this to a year ago when the Steelers were left for dead on a Saturday game against the Colts, and Mike Tomlin was looking his first losing season square in the eye, and Mason Rudolph rallied this team and they made the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying they're going to beat the Chiefs and win the regular season finale, but there's still a lot of opportunity. There's still a lot of season left if things go right. And I think a big part of that is George Pickens has not played in the last 3 games. This offense looks very different when George Pickens isn't out on the football field. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but that's a reality of the situation. And if I'm Omar Khan in this front office, I'm locking up George Pickens long-term this offseason. And I'm not going to mess around to say, hey, let's go see what he's going to make on the open market. It's going to be a premium. This offense is a lot different with George Pickens on the field. I do want to give a shout out to Calvin Austin III. I thought he played well today. 4 catches for 65 yards. And to me, he's your receiver 2. He's your wide receiver 2 behind George Pickens. We've been asking who's going to be that guy. Is it Van Jefferson? Is it someone else on this roster? Roman Wilson hasn't played this year. It's Calvin Austin III. And I thought he had 2 really big catches on the touchdown drive that was capped off by Cordero Patterson's catch. Yeah, caught it on a play action pass and then had another key first down conversion later on in that drive. But let me break down some of the sequence in the second half that I thought was really, really key for the Steelers. So Pittsburgh goes and scores on Patterson's touchdown. Baltimore then goes and scores to make it 24-17. Steelers turn it over on downs. And then Minkah Fitzpatrick with his first interception since January 1st, 2023. And it looks like the Steelers are back in it. They've got the momentum, down 7. Baltimore's leading 24-17. And then just a few plays later, the pick 6 to Marlon Humphrey. And it was only like a 2-yard pass. I know Russell Wilson would have loved to have that pass back, but you got to protect the football. Got to protect the football there. And I thought leading up to that too, before the touchdown to Cordero Patterson, Elandon Roberts had a key tackle on Derrick Henry to force a 4th down. I thought was a big play. I thought that was a really big play. But Pittsburgh doesn't quite get it done. I also thought that Chris Boswell had the kick out of bounds, which led to a Baltimore scoring drive. You can't give the Ravens opportunities like that. And Boswell's had a really nice season, but to give the Ravens the ball at the 40-yard line, they only need to go 60 yards for the score. And I thought that was big too in terms of the field position standpoint and the components that make up special teams. But we'll see what happens. Now, I'd imagine that the Chiefs are going to be favored on the road when they come into Acrisure Stadium on Wednesday on Christmas Day. It's going to be a 1 o'clock kickoff game. And the Chiefs are really hot. They won yet again today. And I know it's been all these 1-score games. So they're playing on shortened week. The Chiefs are 14-1, and the Chiefs beat the Houston Texans today 27-19. So you're going to have your hands full against Patrick Mahomes and company, and a team that's accustomed to playing in these big-time games and teams that are accustomed to getting the other team's best shot. It's going to be tough for Pittsburgh. I really would have liked to see them win today against Baltimore and to clinch the division. And so that gets pushed back another week, and we'll see what happens from here. Certainly disappointing if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it just shows how much this offense misses George Pickens on the field. Russell Wilson today, 22 of 33, 217 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, had an interception, and also had a fumble. Lamar Jackson, 15 of 23, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns. Had the interception to Minkah Fitzpatrick. Jaylen Warren was the Steelers' leading rusher, 12 carries, 48 yards. Derrick Henry had a day, 24 carries, 162 yards on the ground for King Henry. And then Zay Flowers, 5 catches for 100 yards today. Baltimore's offense, I thought, looked good. Baltimore 1 time of possession, had the ball for 32 minutes in today's game. And the Ravens had 418 yards of total offense, only 315 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought Lamar looked really good, and there's a reason why Lamar's in that MVP conversation, along with Josh Allen and Saquon Barkley. Lamar, I thought, looked as advertised today. And the Steelers defense, I don't know, these last few weeks against the elite of the elite, maybe they're out on the field too long. Certainly that was the case against the Eagles, but I don't know. There's more to be desired, and there's more to be desired relative to the opponents that the Steelers are playing. Again, the Eagles, Ravens, and Chiefs are all going to be playoff teams, and elite level playoff teams at that. I think the Eagles are right there with the Lions. I think the Ravens are coming on at the right time, and then the Chiefs, back-to-back Super Bowl champions. I mean, only 1 loss this season for Kansas City. How you play against the teams that you're likely going to be matched up against in the playoffs, that's what's disappointing in this. And the schedule makers didn't make it easy for Pittsburgh. And I can't wait to see how this is showcased on HBO's Hard Knocks this upcoming week. Tough for Pittsburgh, though, right now. Got to regroup fast, because right now you've got to figure out how can the Steelers play their best football at the end of the year and not to let these 2 losses get in the way of what overall has been a successful season. You got Kansas City on Christmas Day, and you got some extra time to get ready for the Bengals right now. That's scheduled for January 5th. Potentially, that game could be flexed. So keep an eye on that for the final week of the regular season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's get to what Yins think, and this is the portion of the program where you get to weigh in and share your thoughts, your comments, your observations, your frustrations. If you have any questions, leave those in the chat. If there is a super chat and you want to financially support the Bleav in Steelers show, I will promise to read your comment here on YouTube as we go live here on the Bleav in Steelers post-game show after today's 34-17 loss against the Baltimore Ravens. If you want to call a show as well, that StreamYard link is in the show notes. So if you want to appear on screen on this show, you have the opportunity to do that. Let's get to some of the comments now as part of what Yins think. And Autumn saying Russ cost, I think she meant Russ cost us the game today. And the turnovers. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty evident of the fumble when it was 7-7, trying to go for a touchdown, trying to make a play. Know when to go down, know when to slide, know when to protect yourself, and not to risk a fumble. And then the pick six to Marlon Humphrey certainly put the game away and made it a 2-score game for the Baltimore Ravens. That really was the difference today. And Russ has usually been pretty good. Today that didn't happen, but for anyone who wanted Justin Fields as a starter, and I don't think there are many of those people, but he was inactive today along with George Pickens, so that wouldn't have been a possibility. Chad checking in. I got to sneeze. Hang on. Sorry about that. Chad checking in and saying, we didn't stop the run today, and I'm with Chad. Not only did the Ravens win time of possession, the Ravens had 220 yards of rushing. Again, Derrick Henry had 162 himself on the ground today. And let's see what Lamar's totals were. Justice Hill had 2 carries for 30 yards. Lamar, 9 carries for 22 yards. So it's clear to me that the Steelers were trying to slow down Russ, but King Henry did his thing, and it's a tough offense to stop. It's a really, really good Ravens offense. Chad, thank you for checking in. Temple, a regular viewer of the Bleav in Steelers, checking in, saying, we knew this was going to be a brutal stretch and the injuries just compounded it. This team could still get healthy and peak in the postseason. Temple, I like the optimism, and I am with you. Got to get George Pickens back. I mean, I like that TJ Watt played today. He wasn't guaranteed to go, but I want to get Fields back as well to have those packages when you need a short yardage conversion and you force the defense to play an honest 11 on 11 and to have Fields as a backup to Russell Wilson. Got to get healthy. Got to get healthy right now. Temple, thank you for checking in. I appreciate it. Kenneth kind of reiterating some of the points we made earlier. Kenneth says, Russ had the 2 big turnovers that cost us the game, but also we're only in the game because of Russ as well. I think we can grow from this. Our offense looked better. I do think that Pittsburgh played better today than they did a week ago against the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me know what you think about that. But I thought that the Steelers were really in it up until the pick six to Humphrey. And yeah, Russ led some scoring drives. Obviously, the turnovers were big, but that goes to the reason why the way that the Steelers have won games this season and really for a long time, win the turnover battle is one of the big parts of that. Win the line of scrimmage, win the running game, being able to control the clock, control time of possession. Steelers didn't do that today. Kenneth, thank you for checking in. Autumn saying, in the upcoming draft, we need to draft a wide receiver, cornerback, DB. Autumn, I'm with you with the frustration. An interesting possibility. Not one that I would do, but I would highly consider it. Deontay Johnson is going to clear waivers at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Monday. The Ravens just cut him. I know he has been what others have dubbed a locker room cancer. I have heard this from multiple people, not just within the Steelers organization, within the Ravens organization, Carolina as well. Steelers need another receiver. I mean, if we're being honest here, would you consider bringing Diontae Johnson back? Could you convince him to say, hey, we need you to be playing your best football, period. We're going to try to go win the damn Super Bowl. I don't know if he would be open to returning to Pittsburgh. I don't know if Pittsburgh would be open to having him return and the influence he would have on the other young receivers that you want to develop. George Pickens, Calvin Austin III has made some progress. I mean, someone's got to make plays for this offense. Would you consider bringing Diontae Johnson back for the postseason run here? Again, he's going to clear waivers 4 o'clock Eastern time on Monday. I'm really curious to see if anyone picks him up. He's a good route runner, is a solid player when it comes to production. To me, his issues lie in the locker room and his relationship with teammates, with coaches, and how he is behind the scenes, not in and I'm talking about the practice. I'm talking about being a professional, being a pro. That's the MO on Deontay Johnson. I want to know in the comments, would you consider bringing him back? Would you bring him back straight up for the Steelers? I'm of the thought process. Initially, it sounds good on paper. I would probably lean toward no, but a player like that could really help you because you need another playmaker. I guess I'm just of the thought process that because Russell Wilson hasn't had a full offseason to work out with Diontae, I don't know if they would be able to have chemistry right away. Week 17 of the NFL season just to come in. It would be Deontay's 3rd team this season if another team picks him up after 4 p.m. on Monday. Really, really curious about that. Steeler Chick 46 asking, is there any hope that Pickens is back for the Chiefs? We'll see, but on a shortened week, probably not. If he wasn't able to go today, I would then maybe say the target date would be that January 5th game against the Bengals, unless that flexes into a different game. Maybe you hang on to George Pickens to say, hey, rest up until the postseason. I would be surprised if George Pickens plays on Christmas Day, but we will see here Saturday, between Saturday and Wednesday. Really short week for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenneth also checking in again, saying ball bounced their way today. They were honestly due 3 fumbles in it. We didn't recover any of them. Sometimes that happens. Luther checking in, saying the Steelers need to pick up Steven Smith off of waivers. We'll see. Really frustrating today for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just, I was hoping for a different outcome. I really thought with the Minkah Fitzpatrick turnover, it's like, whoa, this is something we haven't seen in like a full season, because last year Minkah battled injuries. Teams know where he's at on the field now. He was an all-pro in 2022, and I promise you, he was the Steelers' best offensive player that year. And I know he plays safety. I know he's a defensive player. Oh, I was excited. Maybe Minkah can start to bunch some turnovers together. Wouldn't that be nice for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Steelers lose today 34-17. I'm not seeing anyone else in the chat. If you're watching this after the fact and you have questions about this game, about the Steelers moving forward, please leave them. I'll do my best to get to them throughout the week. But the Steelers fall and lose their 2nd consecutive game, and they'll need to regroup on Christmas Day against the Kansas City Chiefs. The game's going to be on Netflix as well, so excited to watch that. Hope all of you are able to enjoy the rest of your weekends. If you haven't already, do me a favor on Apple and Spotify. Go leave a 5-star review. If it's funny, I'll read it here on the show. And then if you're watching on YouTube and you're a Steelers fan, tell your other Steelers fans, friends that are fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers, tell your family, trying to get this show out there more and more. And we have great guests here on Bleav in Steelers as well, each and every week, to get you ready for whoever the Steelers opponent is, how the Steelers are doing, people that cover the team. So stay tuned here on Bleav in Steelers. I'm not going anywhere as we get into the postseason push, the end of the 2024 season. This season's flying by, but please do anything you can do to support the show. It really mean a lot to me. I want to thank today's presenting sponsor, betonline.ag. And I want to thank you, the listeners and the viewers of Bleav in Steelers. I'm really proud of this community that we've built each and every week, going live after Steelers games and putting out good content each and every week here on the Bleav in Steelers show. My name is Mark Bergin. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Saturdays and the rest of your weekends. I will be back this week to preview Steelers and Chiefs on Christmas Day. I will be going live on Christmas Day at some point. I'm not sure it's going to be right after the game because I will be with family for Christmas Day, but there will be shows after the Steelers-Chiefs game at some point on Christmas Day, so keep an eye out for that. Again, my name is Mark Bergin. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care, and so long, everybody.